Hey guys, what's up? Andre from Bifuteki here with a video basically showing you a new guide on how to set up your CocoaSplit to stream on Twitch. Now, through the couple of months, CocoaSplit has gone through a lot of changes. I'm gonna basically open it up here. I've actually cleared out all of the information in it, so right now it's basically back to its somewhat default state. Um, what you're going to want to do here in order to set this up, you're going to basically need some basic information. So now what you're going to really need is to know just how well your CPU is as well as your internet. So now if you have a processor that's 2.4 gigahertz Intel Core i7 and it has to be a quad core. Now in order for you to find out if it's a quad core or not, you need to click. In fact, let's do this. We're gonna go to the Apple about this Mac, click more info, and then click system report. Now right here it'll tell you how many processors and the number of cores. And as you can see, I have an Intel i7 2.6 4-core processor. Okay? Now if you have this, or if you have the 2.4 version or even the 2.2, what I'm about to say to you applies to you guys. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to close that out and we're going to do this. Now for the type, as you guys all may know, I use CamTwist to basically set up all of my shots that I use whenever I'm streaming. So I'm just going to open up CamTwist just so I can get the values of CamTwist. So we're going to do, wait, really? It automatically goes to the AV Foundation. Either way, so we're going to pick Siphon, and then we're going to go to CamTwist. Okay. Now, all this information is not going to be there. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to put your resolution. Again, this applies to anyone who has a 2.2 quad-core i7 and above. Okay. Now this part applies to you. You could stream at 1280 by 720. You could stream at 540p, 480p. Doesn't really matter. Okay, for this demonstration I'm going to basically do 480p. Okay, just for you guys. Okay, 480p. We set the cam twist, we set the compress, we got to set it now to what we want it to be. So now again, if you are using an i7 quad core 2.2 or above, you're going to want to set your preset to very fast. You're going to set your tune to animation, depending on what it is you're streaming. If you're streaming something with a lot of fast motion, you're going to want to use animation. If you're streaming something that is, you know, kind of like a RPG, or not like a old school, I'm trying to think, like something that's not really a lot going on, use film. These are the only two that you should really stick to. Film or animation. I know before I used to say leave it blank. I'm telling you to pick one now. Okay? I always pick animation. For profile, you're going to want to use either main or high. Okay? Main uses less CPU, so we're going to go with that. Now for your max rate, you're going to need to do a speed test. So this is your best bet this is your best way to figure out just how much uploads you have. A lot of times, because I got this question a lot, I used your guide that you did before, and you're like, I put 3,000 kilobits in there, but I only have this much and my stream is lagging, and it's because you don't do a speed test. Now I'm basically going to perform one here just so you could see exactly how it's done and how I come about with my number. Now I basically have Verizon files, so I have about 150 down to 75 up. Okay, you're not going to see me get 150 now because I'm kind of using it wirelessly, but this is still a good speed test. So I got 135 flat down, and I'm probably going to see roughly about 50 to 60 up. Okay, now I have more than enough bandwidth to do a 3 meg up type of stream. Now, mind you, 3,000 kilobits is pretty much the max that you should be sending. So let's go over some people's tiers now. So if you have, let's say, 2 megs up, I would suggest when you set up your VBV max rate and your variable bit rate value buffer to, let's say, 1,000. If you're at 2, always use half of what your internet is, because one, you want to leave some space for whatever game you're playing. If you're playing it online, you need some of that bandwidth. Hell, you might even need to do 900 if you're at 2 megs up. Some people have 5 megs up. If you have 5 megs up, then you could go ahead and you could do 2,000 kilobit. You could do 2,000 max bit rate, 2,000 max bit rate, and 2,000 buffer. If you have 10, 50, or 100, then hey, knock yourself out. Go ahead and put in the full value of 3,000. Okay, 3,000. If you want to be bold, go ahead and do 3,500. But only do that if you have partnership. Okay, keyframes every 2 seconds. CRF, leave it at 0, because if you're using CBR, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so again, this method is for people who have a MacBook Pro, iMac, or a Mac Mini that has a quad-core processor, or a Mac Pro that have a quad processor, or an 8-core or 12-core, whatever, processor in that machine. This is only applies to you guys. Okay, you're going to use the X264, and that be that. Okay, now for FPS, we're going to set it to 60, obviously. For source, now, in order for you to start your stream, you have to pick an audio source. If you're using a mixer and you're having all of that stuff going to your line in, your mic in into your MacBook or your Mac Mini or your iMac or your Mac Pro, you're going to use the built-in input. You're going to set the bit rate to 128, your sample rate at 44,100, and that's that. But now you need to enter in your stream key and everything else. So in order for you to get your stream key, you're going to have to head on over to Twitch. You log in. Once you log in, you're basically going to be here at the home page. What you're going to want to do is you're going to click on your name over here. I'm using one of my test accounts. Click over here. You're going to go to your dashboard. Sorry this is taking some time, but it's only because I have all these videos being compressed right now. Whatnot. You're going to click on stream key. It's going to take you to your stream key. It's not going to show you your stream key until you ask it to show it. You click show. What you're going to do is you're going to highlight it, copy it. Going to bring it on over here, Twitch TV. You have to select Twitch TV now. Select Twitch TV, click add. You're going to enter your key in there, and you're going to pick the server closest to you. Now, being that I live in New York would be the most obvious one for me. Until someone actually makes a tool that will actually ping and get the information off of the ping and the latency for all of these servers, I always, and I repeat, I will always use Virginia. For some weird reason, Virginia always seems to be the best server for me. So we're going to go ahead, select the Virginia server since I live in New York. Click add. We're going to make sure that this is active. Okay, another thing is too that you could actually add a delay. So once you add the delay, which I don't think any of you guys are going to need, but if you're playing like Hearthstone and you don't want someone to tell what's going on, you might want to add a delay of, like, let's say, and this is in seconds, so you can want to add a delay of like 30 seconds. But whatever. You could come in here, you can rename it. So I could sit here and name this one, because this is my test channel, so test VA, and basically it tells you to type Twitch. And like that, we're pretty much all set. And CocoaSplit is pretty much all set and ready to go. Now, in order for you to save all of this, the best thing for you to do is to quit the application and reopen it. That's the best way, because let's say you start streaming and let's say it crashes, because it does have the tendency of crashing at times. like it just did. No, what? There it is. It saved everything. It saves pretty much all your values that you enter in. Okay, so now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clear out everything again so I can show for people who have a MacBook that is, how you say, a MacBook Pro that's the Core 2 Duo, or even, yeah, basically Core 2 Duos, basically dual core Macs, 13-inch MacBook Pros, and things like that that basically only come with dual core. Now, pretty much do everything that you did before. You know, you're gonna come in here, you're gonna pick Siphon, you know, Cam Twist has to be open, you're gonna select Cam Twist. Okay, you're gonna come in here. I always suggest, if you're going to be streaming on something that is a Core 2 Duo and things like that, you're gonna want to stream at 480. Okay, 480p. Did I pick this? Yeah, I did. So why aren't you showing up here? Whatever. It's not important. Okay, so now what we're going to do here now is we actually have to pick something else. So what we're going to do now is we actually have to delete this, and we're going to create a new one. When you create a new one, when you're using a Core 2 Duo processor, you're going to want to pick the Apple VT compressor. Okay, basically this is H.264. This is basically, you know, baseline type stuff. Okay, so we're going to call this one H.264. Bitrate, again, you're going to want to check your speed. Okay, my speeds are good, so I can do 3000 keyframes every 2 seconds. You're going to want to use CBR, and you're going to, and if you're using Apple VT compressor, use main or baseline. Okay, to try to use high, you're not going to have the CPU bandwidth in order to do that. Okay, because being that you're using a dual core machine, it's good, but it's not good enough to actually handle high. Hell, I would just use baseline, to be honest with you. Either way, as you guys can see, I'm pretty much, my RAM is now going back up finally. But that pretty much does it for all you guys. And again, you just sit here entering your values, and just go here, paste that in, and then use the server that's closest to you, and you're all set. Do that. Once again, you're going to quit, and then you're going to reopen the program again, so that this way it saves all the values. Okay, because we could just go right back in here, and as you can see, it's using the Apple VT default, and that's that. All right, so hopefully this basically alleviates a lot of the questions that you guys have when it comes to streaming on a Mac with CocoaSplit, or has alleviated a lot of the questions that you guys have with CocoaSplit to begin with. Alright, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave any questions in the comment area, and I'll be sure to answer it promptly as I can. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.